وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح للأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين صلوات ربي وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Sheikh Abubakar, ably represented, and the representative of the National Security Advisor, our dear Vice Chancellor of Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi, scholars, our dear Vice President, our Vice Chancellor, Sheikh Dr. Abubakar Gumi, and other distinguished brother host of this occasion. Our organization, Jamaat Izzatul Sunnah, the history of the organization cannot be completed without mentioning Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi. So anywhere, if there is a gathering where Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they will come together, whether that unity. Through his teachings and concept, he consistently emphasized Islamic brotherhood over ethnic or sectional divisions, reinforcing the Saddauna's vision of united and disciplined North. As a Grand Qadi, Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi strengthened the Islamic justice system, ensuring that justice was accessible, credible, and rooted in moral integrity. This contributed immensely to social order and public confidence in governance, which became hallmarks of Saddauna's administration. Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi was a reformer of thought. He encouraged So Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi always recite this verse of the Holy Quran, and each and every one of our Imam and Imam, they used to recite this every Friday to encourage the leaders, to show them that they should do justice in their leadership. So Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi possessed the courage to speak truth to power. He advised Saddauna with sincerity, independence, and fear of Allah. This moral boldness protected the northern leadership from arrogance and ensured that authority remained a trust, not a privilege. Brothers and sisters, the success of the Saddauna was not accidental. It was the product of a visionary leadership guided by principled scholarship. Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi. Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi's contribution was the unseen foundation upon which many visible achievements were built. He reminded leadership of its purpose, restrained excess, and anchored power in moral responsibility. As we remember Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi in our midst today, and we remember the lesson, we have seen from his life. When leaders listen to scholars, when leaders listen to scholars of integrity, the scholars maintain independence from power, societies prosper. The lessons derived from the foregoing is the need to have a strong, sincere, and committed synergy between the political leadership and religious leadership in northern Nigeria and in Nigeria as well. If we are to restore peace and unity that can foster progress and development in Nigeria, I wish each and every one of us that is here Allah's guidance. May Allah put more barakah to this gathering, this conference, as we gather here, and may He take each and every one of us back to his destination safely. Allah madaukakin sarki ya sanya albarka kuma ya mana jagora a madadin kaina da kuma kungiyar jama'ati za ta bi da kamata sunna ta Najeriya. Ina yawan wannan ta lafiya a gama lafiya, tarihin mu ba zai cika ba, tarihin mu ba zai kare ba har duniya ta kare ta tashi sai an tuna da Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi duk inda za a yi magana akan ainihin wato littafin Allah, Alqur'ani da Sunna a dai Najeriya da Afirka mu ta West Africa. Ina addu'a Allah ya gafarta mishi, Allah madaukakin sarki ya ci gaba da tayar da ire-iren su wurin karantar da al'umma har su koma zuwa ga littafin Allah. Astaghfirullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. No? Okay. Nice. That was good.
MashaAllah, can we please put our hands together for the national chairman of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, ably represented by Alhaji Muhammad Idris, the Honorable Minister for Information and National Orientation, the representative of the former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the representative of the Deputy President of Senate, distinguished Senator Barrow I. Jibrin, the chairman of this occasion, Sheikh Abdullahi Bala Lau, Nigeria, Sheikh Abdullahi Bala Lau, the Chairman Council of Ulama Kano State, Sheikh Ibrahim Khalil, lead paper presenters that are here with us, other esteemed guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon our noble prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his companions, and all those who follow his guidance until the day of resurrection. It is with immense pleasure and a profound sense of institutional pride that I warmly welcome you all to Bayero University, Kano, our great citadel of the presence of other revered royal fathers, highly placed government officials, renowned scholars, and respected community leaders underscores the national and international significance of this conference as well as enduring relevance of the theme. This conference reflects Bayero University Kano's unwavering commitment to the advancement of knowledge, critical inquiry, and meaningful engagement with issues at the intersection of religion, society, governance, and development. As a leading institution of learning in Nigeria and the wider African region, the university remains dedicated to promoting research. A formidable scholar, jurist, reformer, and public intellectual whose impact transcended the confines of the mosque and the classroom to be worthy of sustained scholarly examination. The decision to devote this conference to Sheikh Gumi's intellectual heritage is therefore both apt and timely. It provides a valuable platform for rigorous academic assessment of his contributions, careful intellectual context and thoughtful evaluation of their relevance to contemporary challenges, particularly issues of religious extremism, interfaith relations, national cohesion, and peaceful coexistence in plural societies. I wish to specially commend the Center for Islamic Civilization and the Interfaith Dialogue for its foresight and consistency in organizing this conference in collaboration with Jama'at Izalat Bid'ah wa Iqamati Sunnah. The Center's commitment to promoting interfaith, mutual respect, and constructive dialogue resonates strongly with the vision and mission of Bayero University Kano as an institution that is committed to academic excellence and social responsibility. Over the next 2 days, I am confident that participants will benefit from rich scholarly presentations, robust discussions, and meaningful exchanges of ideas. I encourage all participants to engage with one another critically, respectfully, and constructively in the finest tradition of academic inquiry. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the director and staff of the Center for Islamic Civilization and Interfaith Dialogue, the collaborating partners, the organizing committee, our distinguished chairman, keynote speaker, lead paper presenters, and all participants whose collective efforts have made this conference a reality. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my earnest hope that the deliberations and outcomes of this conference will not only enrich academic literature, but also inform policy, guide practice, and contribute to deeper understanding, peace, and harmony within our society and beyond. On this note, it is my honor and privilege to formally declare open the fourth International Conference of the Center for Islamic Civilization and the Interfaith Dialogue by University Kano in conjunction with JIGWIS Nigeria. Thank you for your kind attention. May God bless you all. Thank you.
our nation's political direction. He was there in the beginning and in the aftermath of our independence and civil war, also coordinated with authorities in this country and elsewhere to promote oneness and peaceful coexistence. Sheikh Gumi is first among equals. He was a teacher, a Qadi, a reformer, a leader, an advisor, and a prodigious writer who earned global recognition for his translation of the Holy Quran into Hausa. The 1987 Faisal Award for Service to Islam firmly established Sheikh Gumi as one of Nigeria's earliest international on race. He earned his conquest, the scholar's scholar, not only on the basis of his unrivaled scholarship, but also for mentoring numerous others to believe in the indivisibility of Nigeria, and in work, and in worship, and he also in representation of governance. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we lay bare the immutable legacies of Sheikh Gumi, it behoves us as a collective to ponder in our resolve for a more united country by deepening and broadening trust and coexistence in line with the teachings of Sheikh Gumi. This has become urgent and necessary to respect that we all have for our religious diversity. We must forge a united front against those who challenge our national cohesion. We are it from terrorists whose reason is not tenable, and therefore we must resist their balkanizing intentions, but only through shared values and patriotism. My administration is working as seriously to protect life and property, and in a security fight against terror that all of us have a responsibility to be part of. We must know that our unity cannot be toyed with. We are determined to entrench community policing through the instrument of the state police, for which I have encouraged all state governments to initiate, while the National Assembly attends to the constitutional imperatives that will make that achievable. We have deployed more than 7,000 trained forest guards to deny sanctuary to criminals who are parading our forests and their corridors. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, following my declaration of a national security emergency in November of 2025, we have since expanded and reinforced security in states by of terrorism. We have optimized intelligence-led operations and federal and state security operations to disrupt and dismantle terrorist and criminal networks wherever they may be in the length and breadth of this country. Our security alliance would be primarily on the fight against terrorism and the protection of vulnerable groups and communities. That nonetheless respects the sovereignty of Nigeria, and the operation of this is being led by our national troops. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, despite all that we do militarily as a nation, the path to lasting peace and unity lies in our resolve to respect one another to cherish our religious and social cultural diversity and to coexist amongst ourselves amicably. Of late Sheikh Mahmud Gumi, may Allah grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus. I want to wish you all a very successful dialogue at this conference with abundant outcomes in renewed faith for the peace and unity of Nigeria. These are the words of President Bola Tinubu that I have just delivered to all of you. God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And let me add that I have asked that my own presentation be moved upward so that I can go back to Abuja and also to attend to other directives of Mr. President. I thank you all for listening and thank you for the invitation. May Allah bless this gathering. May Allah also make us to see the teachings of Prophet Muhammad and all the blessings they are in the hereafter. Thank you very much.
That was the speech of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, Minister of Information National Organization, Honorable Muhammad Idris, MPN. Can we please give him a round of applause for our minister and representative of our president? The Vice Chancellor of Bayer University, Professor Abubakar Sali, will present to the Honorable Minister.
His Excellency, President of the country, Bola Tinubu DC, who is heavily represented by the Honorable Minister of Information and National Communication, Alhaji Muhammad Idris, Fellow of the National Institute of Communications. Thank you, sir.
While the representative of His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Tinubu, represented by Honorable Minister of Information and National Organization, while he was making his address, we have in our midst Sheikh Yusuf Sambo Retakibu. Madam, we are welcome. We also have Alhaji Bashir Yusuf Abdullahi Bala. You are all welcome. At this juncture, I will invite to grant the motion of the National Mosque, former Vice Chancellor, University of Sokoto, now Usman for the University of Sokoto, Professor Sheikh to make the keynote presentation. Sheikh, motion, the Bible.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله نحمده سبحانه وتعالى ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا محمد سيد الخلق أجمعين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Ably represented by the chief host, the Vice Chancellor of Bayern University, Professor Abdullahi Gumi retired, my very important son and friend, distinguished members who are sitting behind me, who are either representing some very important dignitary themselves, coming here as their own personalities. I salute them, and I'm sorry I timely and appropriate as he is who has been a major influence in the lives of a large number of people, particularly the elite, and who has significant. These areas which I want to talk about are one, my relationship with Sheikh Abubakar Gumi. That is my much older than I was. He was then in his fourth and final. Also in the debating society. The debating society used to meet every Wednesday, while the football team met daily each afternoon. This was to be the beginning of a strong relationship that kept on growing until his death in 1992. In 1947, Sheikh Gumi graduated the tafsir, that is, the interpretation of the Holy Quran. Even as an assistant teacher, as an assistant teacher at that time, he was very effective, and liked by all students. He remained there teaching in the place. They were saying, بخت الرضا ما البخت في واديك والبؤس باد في وجوه بنيك. But we changed this. We, the Nigerian students, changed this and said, بخت الرضا والبخت في واديك. Not ما البخت. والبخت في واديك والخير باد في وجوه بنيك. That was how we changed it. That institute was staffed by highly educated students and also British academic staff. At that time, it was in the same quarters, gave me the opportunity to get very close to Al-Hajj Abubakar Gumi and to understand him very well. One of the pleasant opportunities we had at that time was to perform Hajj together. That was in 1955. We as students thought that important thing which I remember was that quite a number of our colleagues, that is the Sudanese students, were saying that, Ya Salam, why are you going now? It's too early, because it was regarded that it was only the elderly people who would go to the Hajj. As co-teachers, Malam Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, our future president, Malam Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, he was teaching there in that school. And also Malam Amin Kano. So these two were teaching in Maru when Sheikh Gumi at that time. That is going back to the practice of the companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and those who came after them, and commenced his attack on Bid'ah. It was at that time that Sheikh Abubakar Gumi started to comment on Bid'ah, that is innovation in the form of beliefs and practices. Read obligatory prayers. They used to perform tayammum. You know tayammum? That is the dry ablution. They used to do that instead of wudu, and used to lead the people. Now, Sheikh Abubakar Gumi said this was wrong. Malam Abubakar Gumi at that time vehemently condemned that practice and called on authorities in Sokoto to prevent all these imams from leading obligatory prayers in the mosque. This caused havoc, and he left Kano for Kaduna. He worked there as a judge under Sheikh Awad. Now, one interesting thing which we should remember was that our leaders in those years used to bring somebody, especially from Arab countries, a very important position before a Nigerian would take over. So they invited Sheikh Awad, who was at that time principal of the School for Arabic Studies. He was from the Sudan, but being a principal of the school, a principal region, Sir Ahmad Bello, Sardauna, the Sardauna of Sokoto, set up the first regional advisory committee on Islamic affairs to advise his government. That was the first regional advisory committee on Islamic affairs. The main function of this, as well as some of our School of Arabic Studies colleagues and many other Islamic scholars from different provinces. What we have invited 5 important ulama at the time. These were Sheikh Nasr Kabara, Sheikh Chiku, Sheikh Sheikh Mayula, then Kafunga, San Kafunga, and the sighting of the new moon and the organization of Quranic school. Some of you may note that during that time, there was no any arrangement for the sighting of the new moon and the organization of Quranic school. Then, as always, Mad Abubakar Gumi was very vocal in presenting his ideas and suggestions. The committee met 3 times before the first military coup that toppled the then civilian government in English, or in Hausa, in Hausa, in Arabic and also in Hausa. Especially those from the north. On my part, I used to attend as the principal of the School for Arabic Studies at that time, and often assisted the secretariat in writing minutes of the meeting and compiling reports. In School for Arabic Studies in Sudan, the problem facing Nigerian Muslims and the future of the Ummah. We also had the opportunity to study Kano. His ideas quickly spread among students and some elites in Kano. There and then, he began to challenge those that followed innovative practices, according to him, of both the Tijaniya and Qadiriya. He was strongly opposed by both, but that did not stop him. Sheikh Abdullahi around the concept of following the practice of Salafiyya. And I mentioned that Salafiyya is doing or following the practice of the companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Tabi'in. Now, let me talk a little about personal qualities of Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud Gumi. My close and very long relationship with Sheikh Abubakar Gumi allowed me immense respect as a scholar and as the Grand Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal. This simplicity is something that he had right from the time I first met him. He lived a modest life, and he avoided ostentation in dress, speech, and lifestyle. He exemplified the fact that scholarship and religious leadership should be grounded in humility and service rather than, and he related comfortably with everybody, student, colleague, traditional ruler, politician, civil servant, businessman, and ordinary members of the public. His laughter his light-hearted remarks, and relaxed disposition always created an atmosphere conducive to learning and dialogue. I remember this joke. There is no doubt that Sheikh Abubakar Gumi was one of the most prominent Nigerian Islamic scholars who, through amongst all strata of society. In his status as the Grand Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal, a position he held for many years after he replaced Sheikh Awad, he brought significant reforms in the way the Sharia Court of Appeal and other Sharia courts all over the country operated. All over the nation. Throughout his life, Sheikh Abubakar Gumi promoted in his teachings the idea of Salafiyah, that is, practicing Islam in accordance with the views and practice of the companions of the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and their descendants, the Tabi'un. In 1987, he received the prestigious King Faisal International Islam. Through his life, Sheikh Abubakar Gumi was firm and resolute in defending what he believed to be the authentic teaching of Islam. This firmness earned him admiration from his followers, but criticism from those that he was too hard on some of those who thought that he was very hard on some other people, especially those following the Tariqah. Other people felt that he was sometimes influenced by his followers to make rather extreme positions on the leaders and followers of the Tariqah. Distinguished participant, this is the end of my paper, which I have sketched. I did not read the paper. I did not read all the paper, but I just selected some part of it. May the Almighty Allah reward Sheikh Abubakar Gumi abundantly for his service to Islam, and may he continue.
Allah bless our Murshid of the National Mosque, and may Allah grant Sheikh Malam Abubakar Mahmud Al-Firdaus and all other Muslims that died for us. And in view of the time factor, the paper presenters, we are going to move them to the plenary session. We are going to invite Dr. Ahmad Abubakar Mahmud Gumi to make his presentation. Thereafter, the goodwill messages from our important dignitaries. We invite 2 or 3 of them to make a goodwill messages, and then we go for the break. And when we return, all other paper presenters will make their presentation, inshallah. Madam Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Mahmud Abubakar Mahmud.
We thank the Murshid Al-Am of the National Mosque, our father, Professor Sheikh Ahmad Saeed Galadanchi, CON, for the elaborate paper he has presented, which to us is very important. The most remarkable thing I took from him when he said our father, Sheikh Abubakar Mahmud, is a reformer. A reformer is a big word, really. Something to present here. Nearly 14 centuries since the dawn of Islam opened the world, Muslims have faced numerous diverse challenges, which at times necessitate changes in methodology, opposition to what has been, or the attack on Muslims. Uthman bin Fodio, Sheikh Uthman bin Fodio, in his book, Hisn al-Afham min Jush al-Awham, he said among this delusion is that some people blinded by envy explain that the correct approach of others. What Fodio is trying to say, looking at the views of contemporary scholars is more apt and appropriate for the generation in which they live. So this makes us to look at the three very important trends in Islamic movements today in the world. There are three major ones. We can see the Islamic world stands at crossroads between modernity and tradition. Three major to us. I don't have to talk about the Salafi movement, which our father has explained. Our father is part of that movement. The Muslim Brotherhood was founded in 1928 in a city of Al-Ismailiyah in Egypt by Imam Hassan al-Banna. So I really scrutinize and see Sheikh Abubakar Gumi, where does he stand when we talk about one Muslim? I know for sure Salafiyah, that is his creed. Whoever examines the lessons and writings of Sheikh Abubakar Gumi will clearly find his explicit declaration likely played a significant role in shaping his position. The Sheikh was born and he lived during the final phases of British colonialism and witnessed how the colonial authorities sought to alter religious identity and suspend Islamic law while retaining only individual acts of worship. He understood that the excellence of this ummah lies in enjoying what is right and forbidding what is wrong. As Allah has said, "Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar." As for the Maliki school of law, he has written specifically in his book, Rad al-Azhan ila Ma'ani al-Quran, he states, I shall clarify, stating that in the verses concerning divine attributes, sifat, and names, asma, the sifat, names of Allah, he followed the Salafic creed. He mentioned it. He followed the Salafic creed, benefiting from the works of Sheikh al-Islam, Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, and the guidance of Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz. As previously mentioned, Sayyid Qutb is the most prominent scholar 40 minutes before prayer time, we see him going up to get his ablution. But I've never seen somebody so religiously observing prayer like my father. Sometimes at home, I can tell you at home sometimes, he goes to run first in his house before the mosque was built. He himself, as the grand guy, will make the adhan, the first and the second. Then he will go around his family, his wife and children, wake us up all for prayer. But this is what I know sometimes, many times, I pray with him alone. And it's not always I pray with him. It means a lot of times you do all these rituals and come and pray alone. When I'm dedicated to ritual. So when such a man will tell you that leadership is as important or even more important than the prayer you are talking about, he means something. And now we are witnessing the importance of leadership. The identity Islam today. This three threads means lives. That is the Shiite. But the Salafi, they are protecting their creed, they are not termed as terrorists, despite the fact that if you look at the Al-Qaeda or Daesh, if you read even Boko Haram, if you read what they talk about Ibn Taymiyyah, you find that the root is Salafi movement, but they are protected by the petrol dollar. Americans want money from them, so they have no option but to accept it's an Islamic interpretation. How about the Ikhwan? What is protecting them? The Ikhwan is, what is protecting the Ikhwan is they have provided doctors, engineers, architects, lawyers all over Europe and in the world all over. It's the movement of the intellectuals, movement of university lecturers, movement. And they are protecting Islam in their own way. And we can see Mahmud has combined these three movements and trends and take from each trend what benefits the Ummah and leave what does not benefit the Ummah. So you can say he is Salafi in Aqidah, he is Maliki in fiqh, and he is Ikhwani in politics. So studying his lifetime is very important, and I will give chance for the brothers speakers to speak at time to come. Thank you very much for listening. May Allah take everybody back home. And thank you, our Father, for following this occasion.